sentado, Anita y tú.
You're beyond help. Relax, genius and madness.
Oh, him? Precisely. Wrong universe.
No, just tell me there's a chance.
Can we just pretend like it's the first time?
Me and Arcane have a complicated relationship. I love this series, of course, but I've always found it incredibly annoying. In season 1, that annoyance was spawned by just how competent the show was. That festering jealousy that inhabits anyone who aspires to tell stories when something is so blatantly, so effortlessly perfect. It makes storytelling look like a joke, constantly operating so highly on so many levels that you watch with both a mix of awe at how something like this could be achieved and the dread that you're never going to amount to anything like this in your life. While season 2 sees more of that annoyance born from just how flawed it is. I don't mean that it's aggressively bad, far from it. It's just that it has the type of issues that bother me the most. The type that feel like they could be easily wriggled out with a little extra time and breathing room. I still adore Arcane's second season, but it's clear to me that it bore too heavy of a load for too short of an episode count. Its many plotlines, revelations, twists and turns building into an overwhelming tempest, and that it didn't always have the bandwidth to quell that storm. But despite the deluge of fascist regimes, beautiful radiant black queens, lesbian booty bouncing sex scenes, and homoerotic twink ascension rituals, there's one episode among the writtens that remains damn near perfect to me, and it comes in the form of season 2, episode 7, titled Snowbunny Mind Control. Yes, I know it's not the real title, but it's a better one. I don't give a fuck. I think Snowbunny Mind Control is Arcane's marquee episode because of just how well it distills the show's motifs. We spend the entire runtime entertaining both Ekko's intergalactic escapades and whatever the fuck Jayce is getting up to. I know it literally takes place across multiple dimensions, but it damn near feels like a bottle episode. One that uses a limited number of perspectives and locations to deliver a subdued but hearty dose of the main themes. Arcane has always been interested in its characters' circumstances, their origins, upbringings, trials, and traumas, and how those cause and motivate their decisions, their plots, their dreams, their hopes, and their schemes. That unique tug of war between the two giving the show its sensual secret sauce. But what sets SBMC apart is how it stirs that recipe, flipping those circumstances on their head to provide us a glimpse at what our characters would look like if they faced an entirely different set of decisions. Instead of the typical fantasy crackden that is Zaun, you see a city united, streets cleaned, checks cleared. You see a people prospering, family and friends together, pints poured, fits on point, bars hopped and baddies fumbled, just grubbing and joking and laughing and bullshitting, light and love in the air. You see feuds pieced up, grudges reconciled. You see the ones we lost. You see what we could have had. And it's fucking heartbreaking, dog. These are my beautiful innocent Pookie Bear babies, man. They deserved it all. It sucks so bad because the vision is so beautiful. It's a heavenly apparition, but it's not tangible. You can't reach for this. We know how this shit really went down. We know how it's going in the present. But the contrast between what you're seeing and what we know to be true creates a paralyzing schism. And the audience shares the burden of that knowledge with Ekko. He's such a fantastic character to frame this episode through. Despite his tendency to rewind time, he's the least stuck in the past, at least to the little Zaunite hood rats. Unlike Jinx or Vi, bro isn't really clinging to shit. He's easily the most jaded, the most resigned to the current state of things. He's not pining over what they had. It's surely shaped him, but he's put the elbow grease in to move forward, building a new community and found family for himself with the Firelights. So when he's confronted with these ghastly phantoms from a bygone era, it hits him like a fucking sledgehammer. No pun intended, Jayce. Sorry, baby boy. Mwah. That same conflict present in the audience is being shared and amplified through the character. And this feeling only grows for both parties thanks to the presence of the titular Snowbunny herself. I can't get over the way Powder's handled here. I mean, first off, real quick, these two are fucking adorable. The way they bubble up and percolate when around one another, all the most honest bits and bobs of their personalities floating to the surface, even the jagged ones. Each is equipped with the perfect emotional toolset to finagle with the other's feelings, and that creates such an endearing pairing. They have electric chemistry, and they're a joy to watch off that alone, but they also serve each other's individual development so well. I'm usually not a fan of alternate universe stories, but much like a game of League of Legends, they make me want to butt cuddle a shotgun. It often ends up feeling like the writers are just teasing our tips, puppeting this ghoulish, hollow corpse of a timeline in front of us, massaging the wrinkles in our brains with manipulative member berries in order to elicit a cheap reaction. And that just feels so whack. No! What's emptier than going, it's just the character you know and watched meet a terrible fate, but if they had some silly, goofy AU quirk, isn't that hilarious? But the execution here feels so tasteful due to how substantive alternate powder ends up being. We learn so much about both versions of the character, from how they're different, but also from how they're the same. Alternate Shorty over here acting as a sort of mirror that establishes its own identity while still offering insight into the version of powder we're used to. And they somehow managed to incorporate that entire arc alongside Ekko's. It's so fun getting to watch them meet and be put off by and have to adjust to one another, to see how locked in they get when they're allowed to tinkle, what the fuck? To see how locked in they get when they're allowed to tinker and toil towards the same goal, or just go on cute little excursions. All the while that little cutie patootie Heimer homie's playing a spunky little tune that makes me want to do a jig. Actually, the best song on the soundtrack, and Jayce is still in fucking Chirac. They bicker and brood and make up and make shit and make out and grow, and you can't help but fall into it. The vibes are so immaculate that by the time they're slow dancing and sitting on rooftops, you're understandably just as swept away as bro. Over the course of this episode, Ekko is allowed to rediscover his affection for somebody that he used to know. She's a reflection of that person, yes, but a mirror only really alters perspective. He starts to treat her with care. We start to treat her with care. It's so impressively done. I've been referring to a lot of this as spirits and specters, but she's the most convincing one. The Bloody Mary, the Ya Llorona, the fucking Bog Witch. She feels like something you can reach for. And boy does Ekko start reaching. And can you blame a brother? You see that walk, that hair flip, that fucking wolf cut. Oh my god, this is so bad, dude. I'm sick to my stomach, fam. Fuck do you mean Jayce had it worse? I'd rather do this. I ended up in another world and now my boyfriend is the Lisan Al Gaib Isekai Bennett Fuddy bullshit 20 times over than lose what Ekko lost. Do you know what losing a fine shorty does to a motherfucker, man? I never recover. Luckily, Ekko's a better man than me. The strength of his character on full display as he realizes that this vision of a kinder world isn't meant for him. It's beautiful, yes, but it's not honest. It doesn't reflect the life he's lived, the work he's put in, or the sacrifices that have been made by the people who love him. If he wants a shot at laying his own foundation, he has to let this go. It's like Shorty tells him.
Sometimes taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind.
And it's here as time itself unfolds in front of him as he chooses to take that leap where the episode really comes together. It's so easy to fantasize about what it'd be like if things went another way. To ruminate on our circumstances, regret our decisions, and ultimately mourn lives we've never lived. But that, and excuse my French, is bitch made. Maybe you can't alter your circumstances, but you can create new ones. You just gotta make the decision to do so. You gotta build that brick by fucking brick. And I don't think anything encapsulates what this series is trying to say better than that. I imagine much is going to be made of Arcane's messy ending as time goes on. I've already seen discussions about its fumbles and failings, and I agree with many of those, but I also don't really give a fuck. Sure, they sometimes lost sight of what made the show special. Sure, a good few things end up feeling rushed. Sure, parts of it feel like an ad for an upcoming League cinematic universe. And sure, Heimerdinger fucking combust and never gets spoken of again, which is weird, but we don't have time for that right now. But it's still so evident to me that they always shot to do the best work they could. Even if parts of Arcane crinkle my brow, I'm incredibly thankful it exists. Who says something can't irk you and remain in your good graces? My grandma annoys the fuck out of me. I still love that bitch. When it's in its bag, there really is nothing like this show. If this single episode proves anything, it's that when it's focused on the relationship between its characters, it shines the brightest. When it's down to the essentials, the friends, the lovers, the rivals, the enemies, the pettiness and politics, the family and forgiveness, the mud, the piss, the struggle, the light on the other end of that tunnel, and yes, even a cute stint of Snowbunny mind control. As long as it's capturing these honest little moments in time, that's when it's truly glorious.
Gloria, I wanna take you to euphoria. Them jaws rockin', but they ain't strong enough. I heard it talking, we notorious. This song talking on me. I see you, you see me, both see what we want. I see you see me, both see what we want.
Gobble gobble, little bitch. Thanksgiving may have passed, but I still need to thank your poultry little self for making it to the end of this video. You're seriously sweet as grandmama's apple pie, and if you'd like to parry and repost some of that gratitude back my way, liking the video, commenting, subscribing, you know, the corn and the yams, I'll help put gravy on my mashed potatoes. If you want a chance at leftovers, you could always join the soft-bellied bunch of mates over on the Patreon. I'll be posting a bonus yap session on more Arcane, Dan to Dan, and that new Kendrick there shortly after this goes up, and it's never a bad idea to take a plate home. Okay, pros and pleasantries aside, what's cracking, big dogs? Appreciate y'all coming through for this one. I made this on a whim. I really didn't want to talk about Arcane. I think so many other people are better at discussing it. I even had a whole nother video I was plotting, but a mix of travel, a new Kendrick album, and a one-sitting 9-episode binge of Arcane all in one weekend hit me with divine inspiration. I had to fight myself to keep my hands off my keyboard, and I lost that battle in spectacular fashion. It's a pretty loosey-goosey outing for me, but fuck it, I'ma strut my shit. At the time of recording this, I've been up for 18 hours finishing up that last edit you saw at the end there, and I just want to say, I'm so proud of how that came out. I'm so proud that people get to watch that, and it genuinely makes my day that you stayed to the end of this to see that, dude. Okay, I'ma fuck off. You might see me before the end of the year. Honestly, I doubt it, because I'm gonna spend the rest of my time sleeping and reading that new Brandon Sanderson, but you know, no promises. We'll see what happens. Hugs and kisses, y'all. In case I don't see ya, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope y'all find the powder to your Ekko, or the Ekko to your powder, or the Caitlyn to your Vi, or the Jayce to your Viktor. Whatever stuffs your turkey, you freaky little things. And like Jesus said to the apostles when he rose on the third day, have yourselves a damn good one.